Hello, welcome to our virtual book talks and activity lessons for May. My name is Gloria Rhodes. I'm the Outreach and Diversity Initiatives Librarian at San Diego State University. Our book talks today are going to be about compassion, kindness, and friendship. Let's begin. Our first title is Knots on a Rope, on a Counting Rope, Knots on a Counting Rope by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Ted Brand. On a cool, dark night, under a beautiful stars, an Indian boy sits with his grandfather. Tell me the story again, grandfather says to the boy. Tell me who I am. As the grandfather tells the story of the boy's birth and how he was born on a night when there was a bad storm, how the boy was very weak and almost died, and he ties another knot in his counting rope. In Knots on a Counting Rope by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archibald, it tells the tale of a boy and how he gains confidence in facing his blindness. Knots on a Counting Rope by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault, illustrated by Ted Brand. Our next story and our activity for this lesson is to draw and color a feather. Next slide. Our next story is The Me I Choose to Be. This book was written by Natasha Anastasia Tarpley. The art is by Regis and Caron Bethencourt. It starts out, some may think they know who I am, but here's what you must understand. My creativity and curiosity flow without end. And if I meet an obstacle, I just begin again. Read the me I choose to see all that you can be. This is a beautiful story and beautiful pictures, and one that your child will absolutely love you reading with him or her. And the activity is you can fill in the blanks after you listen to the story, and you can be anything you want to be. And I started off this sentence, I am. And so I want you to fill out the blank as to who you think you are. The Me I Choose to Be, written by Natasha Anastasia Tarpley, art by Regis and Caron Bettencourt. Our next story is Watercress. Watercress was written by Andrea Wang, and the pictures are by Jason Chin. At first, it's embarrassing. Why can't her family get food at the grocery store? But when her mother shares the story of her family's life in China, the girl learns to appreciate the fresh food that they get from stopping on the road and foraging through the mucky waters. They make memories in this tender story about the author's childhood memories. They driving through Ohio in an old Pontiac. A young girl's parents stop suddenly when they spot something growing in a ditch by the side of the road. And they holler, watercress. So with an old paper bag and some rusty scissors, the whole family wades into the muck to collect as much of the muddy, snail-covered plant as they can. So for those of you who are not familiar or who want to know what watercress is, look up what watercress is and maybe try some watercress. Watercress by Andrea Wang, pictures by Jason Chin. And you will get to understand Andrea, a story that mirrors Andrea's life. Activity. What did the family get from the mucky water? Draw a picture below. And that is your activity for watercress. Next story. Come With Me by Holly McGee, illustrated by Pascal Lemaitre. Because as small as it may seem, your part matters in the world. So what do you think we mean by that? I'm going to read the story, Come With Me by Holly McGee. And the author says this story was written in honor of friendship, bravery, and the fact that we aren't powerless, no matter how small and insignificant we may feel. Words by Holly and Pascal. Come with me. All over the world, the news told and retold of anger and hatred, people against people. And the little girl was frightened by everything she heard and saw and felt. She asked her papa, is there something we can do to make the world a better place? Her papa said, come with me. Hand in hand, they walked out the door to the subway. Waiting there on the platform, her papa tipped his hat to those he met. So the little girl did too. They rode the train through the tunnels and underground. The girl and her papa were brave and kind, and that day they won a tiny battle over fear for themselves and for the people of the world. The news kept telling of anger and hatred, and the little girl asked her mama, what could she do to make the world a better place? And her mama said, come with me. They went to their grocery store to buy some things for dinner. Because one person doesn't represent a family or a race or the people of a land. Her mama cooked and the girl set the table, piece by piece, as she's always done. Plate in the middle, knife and spoon to the right, fork on the left, napkin by its side, water glass. The little girl sat with her mama and her papa, and they ate together. Her dog nuzzled her under the table. She scratched its head. I want to do something of my own, she said. Can I walk the dog? Her parents looked at each other and they looked at their child. They let her go and sent a message to the world. They would not live in fear. And when the little girl opened the door, the boy across the hall opened his door too. Where are you going? He asked. The little girl said, come with me, because two people together are stronger than one. The girl, the boy, and the dog were happy to be out. One step at a time, they understood what they could do to make the world a better place. They could go on. brave, gentle, strong, and kind to one another and to all living things. As tiny as it was, their part in the world mattered. Come with me. Come with Me by Holly McGee, illustrated by Pascal Lemaitre. And you will read and see and think about what you can do in the world to make it a better place. Your activity is to talk about some of the things that you can do if you've heard bad news on the TV or seen bad news on the TV or heard bad news on the radio or something that's happening in the world that's not right. Think about what you can do to make the world a better place. This ends our reading for May on compassion and kindness. Happy reading brought to you from the San Diego State University Library and the San Diego State University Women's Resource Center.